published by Kadokawa Shoten in 1998, was that of Cowboy Bebop. Set in the year of 2071, roughly 50 years after a transportational-based accident made the Earth nearly uninhabitable. As a result of the said accident, humanity was later forced to colonize most of the small planets on moons of the solar system. Due to the expanding presence of the human race within the solar system and a lack of law enforcement upon these new worlds that humans are calling home, the policing force, being that of the Inter-Solar System Police, abbreviated as the ISSP, established a legalized contract-based system where bounty hunters, commonly referred to as cowboys or cowgirls, track down wanted criminals and bring them in alive to any ISSP location for a monetary reward. Through circumstances in the story, it focused on a group of characters aboard the spaceship Bebop. The original crew was Jet Black, a former ISSP officer, and Spike Spiegel, a former assassin from the Red Dragon Syndicate, later joined by Edward, a child prodigy skilled with computer hacking, Ein, a genetically engineered dog, and Faye Valentine, a beautiful yet mysterious woman. When Cowboy Bebop was released, director Shinichiro Watanabe was one of the main influential forces behind the Japanimation and was pivotal in its success in both Japan and the United States. Though it was popular for a period of time in Japan, outside of Japan it became one of the first Japanimation series to gain notice in the West, and as a result of the circumstances at the time, Cowboy Bebop became one of the most influential animes to have ever been seen outside of Japan itself. Published by Kadokawa Shoten and written by Masaru Gotsubo, originally 2004 was that of Samurai Champloo. After the international acclaim of Cowboy Bebop, Shinichiro Watanabe conceived of the series in part a year later in 1999. As during the development of Cowboy Bebop the movie, he got inspired for the basic concepts of what would later become Samurai Champloo, and pre-production of it began in 2002. Following the legacy of Cowboy Bebop, the Japanimation series had multiple creative talents for the concepts and implementations within Samurai Champloo. While Cowboy Bebop was that of a science fiction based anime with futuristic settings for the characters to be in, Samurai Champloo had a late Edo period Japanese based setting, but with an American themed based hip-hop for the characters added into the series, which was popular in Japan due to African American based inner city trends of the 1990s in Japan, which went into the production and development of Samurai Champloo in the early 2000s. Even the characters were influenced by Cowboy Bebop, as Mugen, a rash and outspoken vagrant, was viewed as a reverse of the calm and collected Spike. Even his English voice actor was the same from Cowboy Bebop. When Samurai Champloo was released, it was met with positive reception from critics as well as viewers, with most of the character designs of Samurai Champloo being unique and eye-catching for the time. Due to the unique aspects of the anime, much like Cowboy Bebop, the English language dubbing was considered by popular opinion to be superior to the Japanese version due to the themes of Cowboy Bebop as well as Samurai Champloo being more Western and easier to understand than the Japanese version. Interesting details further added that the animation styles and fluidity of the episodes in the anime were considered paramount in the early 2000s, but according to some critics had aged poorly, and other critics still later mentioned that the hip-hop aesthetics on music, as well as the African-American emphasis of Samurai Champloo hadn't aged well, and that although it was an important feature of the anime at the time, it was later considered a cheap attempt to connect itself to the unique themes from Cowboy Bebop. While Cowboy Bebop remains as one of the most influential examples of Japanese animation in modern times, its direct successor of Samurai Champloo hasn't. Sometimes a character could be forgotten because characters of an iconic Japanimation will always be remembered, but supposed legacy characters might not be.